I think we were talking about the country, how the country is moving. Eh? In recent time, we've seen that our city has depreciated and it has lost its value. I think that the city is almost getting to 15 cities also. Every, yes. So we sitting here, I don't, we are not economists, like economics people that we can say this is what should be done to stop it or, but since we are all buying and selling every day, so I think one of the reasons why our city will never get back to its, let's say, five cities, one city, two cities, or whatever, wherever we took it from. It will never get back to that point because in this country, we sitting here, I think the chair we are sitting on right now, it was imported. Hmm? This camera, the microphone that we are using right now, it was imported. Eh? So before you can get your CD to or your currency to be strong against the external currencies, you have to make sure you are also selling something valuable to them. Eh? So that when they want to buy the thing in your country, they bring their currency to change your currency so that they can afford whatever they are selling to them. So assuming we are good in cocoa production, so we have much cocoa in this country, then Americans want to buy cocoa. So they will come to Ghana here. Maybe American has company, they have American companies in Ghana here that want to buy cocoa. So when they are coming, they will bring dollars.
Yeah.
Before they buy from our local people, they will exchange it to cedis. Even though cocoa is sold in the world market, I'm just giving an example. So when you are bringing your dollar to come and purchase something in our country, we will get more dollar, and the more dollar will be chasing cedi. So cedi we can also compete with dollar, and then the rate will be maybe be better. But in this case, I don't. When you turn around, you don't see what Ghana or the people in Ghana can export, which is valuable that can compete with what you bring in. Just imagine how many cocoa bags you can sell to afford a car like Vit or small car. How many cocoa bags do you need to sell to afford a car? How many gold bag can you sell to afford the car? Even the gold, it doesn't go through government. The people, the white people come here, like Chinese come to start it and send it back. We don't, there's no any exchange in monetary terms here. So if you need to gather more mass CD to go get something to exchange it for dollar to afford something there, I think that the dollar will keep on beating CD left, right every day. So we are now at 15 cities. Somebody predicted that by the end of the year, should be at 20 cities.
Yeah.
And I think it will go because you and I, we have the taste of having iPhone, which is not manufactured in Ghana here. And there's no way that we can ever go back to not using phones or whatever, or we can say we'll not go and buy cars or those things. And the more we buy those things, the more we have to exchange Ghana cedis to the dollar. And when you're going, if you go to bank that I need dollar, me to go there I need dollar, you go there you need dollar. The person selling the dollar to you say, okay, the demand is high, so let me increase it. Even if I increase it, they will still buy.
Yeah.
But if only in a month two people come to buy the dollar, the one selling the dollar will say, okay, the demand is not high, let me reduce it so that more people will buy. But if more people are buying, you make sure you increase it so that if you know that if it increases, surely will come and buy.
Yes.
So that's why I think the country where we are headed towards, we are just headed, it's like a car that is on a hill descending down and has no brake. Just hoping that it should get down and crash and the people inside.
Yes, yes. So we not being economists, there's one thing I've taken for the past 8 or 9 years. Our vice president said when the fundamentals are weak, your exchange is what's going to expose you. And I've seen that the fundamentals of this country is very weak. Just like you said, our exports as against our imports is nothing to write home about. And then most of the economists in the country have given series of advices to successive governments, but that has that seemed to fail us as a country. But I think this current government pushed a lot of expectations of Ghanaians to a very high point. We believed, we believed the cedi should have been somewhere around 5 cedis from the 4 cedis they took it. We weren't expecting to have a cedi rising to 17 and then coming back to 11 and now moving back to 15, heading towards 20 as predicted by some economists. I think most at times we deceive ourselves as a country. You have when the cedi was around 11, 12, I heard something of something called gold for oil when we're doing barter trading, exchanging our gold to get dollars and then use the dollars to buy oil and bring it to the country. I don't know whether that was an avenue to get resources for those politicians, because we should be looking for permanent solutions, not temporal solutions. When the dollar was between 11 and 12 and it was stabilized within that period, for a period of 3 months or so, we had the dollar being stabilized within that period. We saw politicians making noise about it and they were happy. And now the dollar is hitting 15 again. So that means our gold for oil policy that we brought is something that wasn't sustainable. And why should we bring a policy that cannot even hold a currency for up to half a year? Then we are not serious as a country. We look more, or we talk more economics, but we are not able to apply it. Yeah, we are not practicing more of the economics. So my mother that buys tomatoes from, let's say, Bolga area, if transport fares increase, she has to also slap it on the tomato. Yes, so that is the economy she knows. So I think our fundamentals are very weak, and I don't think
Our exchange rate is exposing us.
it's exposing us, and we can do little about it. It's only the economists who can salvage us, but economic politicians, those politicians who call themselves economists, I'm not sure they can do anything about this city. Whatever they are doing is for political gains. And I'm even thinking by the close of the year, they are likely to use our loans they are approving currently to push it to make sure our dollar becomes stabilized. And yes, they'll tell us they are doing something. Yes, it's going to be temporary something. They'll tell us they are doing something, but at the end, no, it's not going to work. So it's very bad having our dollars at that rate. 15 cedi to dollar 15 is very bad. Right now, it means when you are going to buy something that is being imported from the United States, you need to pay more for that. And we still have politicians stacking dollars under their beds. There's a reason for that. It's because they know very well that there's no day the dollar is going to depreciate as against the cedi. So they are stacking it there so that when the cedi gets to, let's say, 20, they can send it to the market and also sell. So it can be a form of business for the rich, especially the politicians who have access to more dollars. So the dollar situation is very bad, and I don't trust our politicians to salvage the country with regards to this. Yes, I think that's what I have to say.
Well, I think largely we all know this is as a result of the demand for USD. Yes. So this fluctuation we are seeing is as a result of high demand for USD. And this is also because we do more of importation than exports. So I think fundamentally, our politicians have actually been paying lip service to our city when it comes to stabilizing that. Because in the sense that they always put in temporary measures, like you mentioned, the gold for oil, like you mentioned, these loans that are taken and our proposed syndicated loans, all will be pushed in to stabilize the dollar. These are just temporary
The cedi.
measures. So I think the major thing we should be doing is looking at adding value to our current resources we export. I mean, we have cocoa we export, we have oil, we have timber, we have gold.
Yeah.
So all these things, I think, when we are able to add value
Value
to
to it.
it,
These
we
are raw
start,
materials.
these resources have like a very long value chain. So if you are able to add value to it, then we at least take it not even to the to the tail end of the value chain, but it's even to the middle, or just move 2 or 3 steps within the value chain. We see that we're doing a lot of export instead of import. So at least the demand for dollar would actually reduce, and then they will be able to stabilize our CD, if not permanently, but at least for a very long while. So I think the lip services paid to stabilization of the dollar or the CD is what's actually causing the harm. We should be looking at putting in permanent measures to stop the fall instead of temporary measures. And just like you all mentioned, the vice president in opposition told us if the fundamentals are weak,
The
the
exchange
exchange
rate
rate
will
definitely
expose
will
us.
expose you. So this shows that our fundamentals are weak, and the exchange rate is exposing us. So yeah, I think.
So, like Osman was saying, in this country, you have very good laws, and our people make good laws. But how to implement the laws is our problem. I don't know. I think we have a law that says you cannot, if you are not going to buy something outside, or you are not a business person that transact business outside, you shouldn't be keeping dollars in your room. or in your bank account without any tangible reason why you need a dollar. But I think people in this country, like this is politicians, they are keeping dollar in their account, in their bedrooms, which is like they are creating shortage. And when there's a shortage, that's where this problem arises.
Economics.
I know young people actually. I also, not only politicians, but I also know a lot of young people who
Keep the dollar.
now buy dollars and then
Yes.
keep or put in their account just because they want to save. They have some CDs to save,
Yeah.
but then
They are afraid that,
you are a young
yeah,
person, then you have something, you have your little CDs, and then you want to save it. Unless you know definitely if you need a currency that when you save it in
The value will not
there's
reduce.
something we call time value of money.
Yeah.
Unless when you pick your money again, it will be worth
Yes.
what it was.
Yeah.
But to save dollar Ghanaian cedi and then at the end you take your 10,000 or 20,000
And now you are going to get, yeah.
what you could use it for in just 3 or less weeks. So I know young people, a lot of young people who are actually also moving into saving more dollars than cedis. I mean, this is all going to cripple our economy.
So that's what I was saying. If Bank of Ghana keep all the dollar in this country at Bank of Ghana, and until you go to them and prove to them that okay, this is the reason why I need dollar. I need dollar to go and buy.
International transaction.
Yes. Then they say how much. They will look at what they're actually going to do. You have to show documentation. Then they look at it. They are satisfied that okay, you are truly going to use dollar to do this. Then they release you bring CD to them and they'll give you that equivalent of dollar.
Not
Then
to
you go and
cut
do
you
it.
short, I think the system has been unfair. Talking of Bank of Ghana, you know, the interbank rates they've been given to me, I think is highly unfair. In the sense that when you are making an international transaction, that's when you realize it's highly unfair. Just last month, I think first week of April, we made a transaction. As at then, the Bank of Ghana interbank rate was around, if I can remember, 12 or 13 Ghana cedis. I can't remember very well. So because of that, I rushed in to make that transaction because I had picked intel that the dollar will rise.
Go up, yeah.
And making 1,200 USD payments, I was charged 14.36 per dollar. As at last month, I think first week of last month.
Meanwhile, Bank of Ghana was
Bank of
quoting
Ghana was giving us
12.
around 13 cities, 12 cities. I can't remember that rate.
Okay.
So this unfairness, this kind of untruth, this kind of treating the citizens like they don't matter.
No, I think
this was actually causing
that
the
one,
issue as well.
you know,
because if you give me the exact rates, at least I'll be able to prepare for that. But if you're not giving me the exact rates, and then I make a transaction and then I'm overly deducted. Next time I also try to get my USD and then
What you are saying is that the rates are political rates.
absolutely
We are giving political rates.
yeah, they are political because the Bank of Ghana, the governor was appointed by the politicians, and he doesn't want to do something that to be like the citizens will not be happy that they will say government is not performing. So
the government
unpopular.
Absolutely.
So they want to do something that will please government. They don't want to please the people. They want to please the government.
And as a young guy, if you make an international transaction, or if you are someone who just in dollar and all that, I mean, you know that actually you are faced with a lot. A lot is happening, especially with this untruth about the exchange rate.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that. Even currently that they are telling us at the bureaus that they sell a dollar at 15.36 or 15.30.
Somebody might even sell it more than that.
If you are making an international transaction, you might even pay around $16,
60, yeah.
just or even more. So these stuff are actually, if not looked into, the city I'm not sure will be stabilized anytime soon. Okay.
So that's why I say we are just heading towards
A crash.
a car on a hill that is descending down without brake. Surely you have to. There's no way you go and stop that car.
Yes.
You go and crash somewhere.